The 801st edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com using promo code MMASGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits.
Howdy ho, DeGenerinos. Welcome to episode 801 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to MC, one of our friends on YouTube who sends us hugs from Brazil. So hugs right back to you, MC, and hugs to all of you watching and or listening to this podcast. I am one of your hosts, the ass grinder, Jeff Fox. Still makes me laugh. I have a co-host. His name is Daniel Gumby Vreeland. We are going to cover the main card of UFC 314 today. Yesterday, we did the prelims. It was almost a team ride, save for one fight. It was a snake-bitten episode, but we did get it to you. And now we're on to our next 800 episodes here. So a pretty solid main card going down this weekend in the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida, UFC 314. A vacant title on top. Quite a few household names on the main card. Should be an interesting card. Thoughts on the card and or the odds, Mr. Vreeland?
I think it's big on star power, which is something I don't necessarily care about, right? Is like Paddy Pimblett is like such a freaking star now. I don't think I even realized how big he was. I was hearing some things about how like he's ranked in terms of stardom over in England, and like he is sort of transcended even the sport over there. It seems like he's starting to become like a thing. So like this is obviously a big spot for him and a big spot for the UK market as far as the UFC is concerned. And like I don't know, maybe that's the perfect way to use Michael Chandler at this stage in his career as a stepping stone.
Yeah, and he only seems to care about being in exciting fights too at this point. Michael Chandler.
It seems like he's toned that back, right? Because like he would lose 2 in a row and be like, "I'm 1 away from my title shot," and you're like, "No, you're not. That's not how lightweight works." There's 7 people in front of you in line. You like need to win in order to get a title shot. He also seemed to like for a little while have this like belief that he was like had like so much star power that he was like Conor McGregor, that he could just like walk back and ask for a title shot. And like, that has never been Michael. Like, I think he's actually gotten maybe more than he's deserved from time to time, but like, he's got 2 wins in the UFC. They're Dan Hooker and Tony Ferguson. And so like, he's maybe gotten a touch more than he's deserved, but like, he's not one of those guys who could just lose 2 and get a title shot like Nick Diaz or something like that.
No, it's true. He is the dirtiest player in the game, though. There's no denying that. So we'll get to his fight very soon. Should remind you, though, if you aren't watching already, Augusta is here, which means the Masters is here. And SGPN is back with Splash Sports for a big contest, up to $30,000 in prizes and only $25 entry fee. Get in today at splashsports.com/SGPN. That's splashsports.com/SGPN, and tune into the Golf Gambling Podcast, the Steffi Small Show, and Bottom Line Bombs for all your Masters picks. All right. As I said, we're off to the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida for this here event, UFC 314. And let's start making some picks, shall we? We're kicking things off with probably the least star-studded fight on the main card. It's a light heavyweight bout. Nikita Krylov versus Dominick Reyes. We'll tell you about the Devastator. Used to be the Devastated, but he's winning fights again. So he's the Devastator, Dominick Reyes. 14-4, 9 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times. 8-4 in the UFC. He's won 2 straight. Before that, he lost 4 straight. Both of his past 2 wins have come via knockout or TKO. He's not lost since November 2022. 2014 pro MMA debut, an inch of height over Krylov. More active landing strikes than Krylov. He's outstruck his opponents by 2.05 strikes per minute. He's at plus 160. Krylov is the minor. Used to be Al Capone or something like that. He's 30-9, 12 knockouts, 16 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted 6 times. 11-7 in the UFC over 2 stints. He's won 3 straight and 4 of 7. Not quite as good there. Sub win in his last bout, but that was back in March of 2023. He was back mining, I guess. He's not lost since March 2022. He's a regional champ. Used to fight at heavyweight. 2012 pro MMA debut. 3 years younger than Reyes. He's outstruck his opponents by 1.91 strikes per minute. Better grappling stats than Reyes, minus 175. I actually had trouble with this one, shockingly, Gumby. And shockingly, I'm going with Dominick Reyes, which I can't believe.
Me too.
Wow, good. I can't believe I'm doing it because I'm the one, as I'll probably be saying very shortly, who says once your chin's gone, it does not come back. That probably still
maybe came back a little bit.
He survived against, well, Anthony Smith. That's not a big deal, but he survived against what's his name, the kickboxer. The fight before that. Why am I blanking on his name? He survived against someone who actually can knock people out. Yes, who actually can knock people out. He survived against him. I don't think Krylov's not really that big of a hitter. He's knocked out one person over the past 7 years, and that was Alexander.
Was that weird head kick?
He was that Gustafsson. He's the only guy he knocked out over the past 7 years. Was Gustafsson. I can't remember. See, it was so long ago, I can't remember. And as for the grappling, Reyes is pretty good at staying on his feet. He's good at stuffing takedowns. So I think he's worthy. Shockingly, I can't believe I'm picking him in the year of our Lord 2025, but I am. And yeah, too apparently.
Same. And I think that wrestling defense that you mentioned is like the most important part. I think people forget that he does come from a wrestling background because he's never used it. It seems like, at least offensively. But like, remember that he forced John Jones to strike with him, right? Like, and granted, it's a different Dom Reyes now, right? Like, we're not under the assumption that it's still the same guy who fought for and possibly should have won the title, right? Yeah. But like, he did stuff 7 out of 9 takedown attempts from John Jones, and like, that's not nothing. You know, like, that is a pretty significant chunk of takedowns he stuffed. And like, that wrestling's still in there. And Krylov is not nearly the wrestler. I think the power of Reyes plays up here. I think he's too strong. And I think we're going to see, I mean, like, the other thing about Krylov is he has regularly walked into strikes. He's willing to like kind of take one to give one, and like is maybe a little bit sloppy in getting to the takedowns. Didn't cost him against Volkanovski, didn't cost him against Alexander Gustafsson. Might cost him here.
Yeah. I also know, like, Krylov is just too inactive. Like, he hasn't fought in over 2 years, and he wasn't fighting frequently, even to begin with at that point. So I don't like the rust that he's for sure going to have on him. So, all right. Shockingly, we're both good in getting Reyes here.
Let's go.
All right. Let's go. We got a couple featherweight, but actually 3 of the next 4 bouts are featherweights. This is all about the featherweights here. We're starting with Bryce Mitchell versus Gian Silva. Yes, Bryce Mitchell still employed by the UFC because Dana White believes in free speech. Damn it. Thug Nasty would be Bryce Mitchell. He's been called a bunch of other names recently, but we'll stick with that one. 17-2, 1 knockout, 9 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. 8-2 in the UFC. Loss win over his last 4. Won his last bout via knockout. It sounds better than it is, because who did he fight, Gumby? Remind the people.
Who say that one more time?
Who did Bryce Mitchell knock out in his last bout? Do you remember?
Oh, he fought Kron.
Yes, Kron Gracie. 8-2 in the UFC. Oh, I already did that. Sorry. 1-1 the Ultimate Fighter, a regional champ. Used to fight at 135. 2015 Pro MMA debut. 3 inches of height, an inch of reach over Silva. Better striking stats than Silva. He's outstruck his opponents by 0.78 strikes per minute, plus 215. Yes, Bryce Mitchell technically has better striking stats than Lord Silva. Lord Silva's 15-2, 12 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's never been finishing a fight. 4-0 in the UFC. All of his past 4 wins have come via knockout or TKO. 1-0 in Contender Series. He's won 12 straight fights. He's not lost since April 2018. Has missed weight before at 145. He's fought at 135 and 155. 2 years younger than Mitchell. Twice more active laying strikes. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC by 1.12 strikes per minute, minus 250.
Yeah, I'm on Gian Silva. What am I, crazy? And look, I've heard a lot of people say that they think this line ought to be closer, because Bryce Mitchell is an exemplary grappler, right? Like, this guy, if he does get you to the ground, he's dangerous all the time. But also, like, it starts on the feet here. And you know me, I'm not somebody who goes out of his way to make excuses for strikers. I'm usually on the other side of things. But like, he's gonna have to box Gian Silva for a second, just like Drew Dober did, and Drew Dober couldn't up a weight class on short notice. That dude is dynamite with his hands. He hits so freaking hard. And he like doesn't let you off the hook when you're hurt. Like, he just piles it on because he's got great cardio, great pace. And look, we just saw, Bryce Mitchell get his head absolutely destroyed by Josh Emmett 2 fights ago. And yeah, like, his next fight, he didn't have to fight a boxer, but maybe they're just like lulling us into remembering that, like, oh yeah, maybe he won't get knocked out in this one. And then they give him Gian Silva.
Can Silva stand his feet?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
good.
I mean, like,
sold.
Sold. No, he's a fighting nerd guy. They've got a good wrestling squad down there.
Yeah, they do.
We've seen time and time again, and granted, with like Prochess doesn't use his offensive wrestling, but like he keeps it standing. Kaibo Ohio uses his offensive wrestling. Like they've got a squad that wrestles pretty well down there. And I'm not usually one to say like, oh, pay attention to the team that they're on for things like that. But like, I don't know. I think he'll do well enough at keeping this on the feet. And like, again, I think we said this on yesterday's episode too, in the Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson fight. He's got to get to him first.
Yeah.
And like, he's got to eat shots on the way in.
Yep. True. I'm taking, if there's any wonder, I am taking Lord Silva as well. So lock him in minus 250. All right. Before we dive into some more picks, let me tell you about Edge Boost. Ever had your deposit blocked by your bank right before a big bet? Ever need to cash at 2 a.m. for another shot at the tables, but hit your ATM limit? I obviously have not, because I always win on the tables. Edge Boost has your back. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors. With Edge Boost, all your gambling related transactions will always be approved. No more headaches. For you high rollers, you can move up to $250,000 a day on your Edge Boost Visa debit card with unlimited withdrawals. This works 24/7 for instant deposits. Never wait for a wire to clear again. It gets better every time you deposit into a qualified gambling account. You earn cashback rewards up to 0.5%. All this for no usage fees and no minimum balance. This is a bank account, not a credit card, so there is no approval required or credit checks. Finally, Edge Boost has a suite of responsible gambling tools to help you manage your bankroll and make informed decisions. What are you waiting for? Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Sign up for Edge Boost today. And we are brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the Masters, plus props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposits, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. But hurry, Kyle Filipkowski's season is almost over. You're going to want to get on his lines there, as well as the UFC lines, of course. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code MMA SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag, promo code MMA SGPN. All right, we're sticking with featherweights here. And we've got one fighter making his debut, another fighter that we don't really see too often around these parts anymore. Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Freire, a.k.a. Pitbull. Let's break it down with Pitbull first. His nickname is Pitbull. He's 36-7, 12 knockouts, 12 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted once. This is his UFC debut. 1-2 over his last 3, 4-2 over his last 6. TKO win in his last bout. That was back in March of 2024. He went 24-7 in Bellator and was a 4-time champion there at 2 different weight classes. He's fought at bantamweight and at lightweight. 2004 pro MMA debut. We have stats somehow. I'm not sure which stats they have on UFCstats.com, but they do have stats for him. He's been outstruck by 1.59 strikes per minute. He's at plus 170. El Pantera Rodriguez. We just had a Pantera a couple episodes ago, and now we have El Pantera. 19-5 with 1 no contest, 8 knockouts, 5 submissions, but knocked out 3 times, submitted once. 10-4 with 1 no contest in the UFC. He's lost 2 straight. Before that, he won 2 straight. All of those are via finish, the wins and the losses. He's not fought since February 2024. He's not won since February 2023. He went 2-0 in the Ultimate Fighter and the champion there. Regional champ, used to fight same as Pitbull, down and up a weight class, 135 and 155. 2011 pro MMA debut, 6 inches height, 6 inches of reach over Pitbull, 5 years younger, better striking stats, more active landing strikes, better grappling stats, and he has outstruck his UFC opponents by 0.66 strikes per minute. He's at minus 192. Give me Rodriguez here. It's just he's a younger version of Pitbull, basically.
Bigger too.
Way bigger. Quite a bit younger too. 5 years is quite a gap. When you're getting way up in years here as well. And he's fought a much higher level of competition. Would have been nice to see Pitbull maybe a decade ago in the UFC, but those days have passed. This is a good fight for him, though. This should be a fun fight, but I think Rodriguez is better than him at this point everywhere.
Yeah, they did a good job of bringing him in and putting him against the perfect kind of opponent to make it a fun. But at the same time, like I don't think he's got anything for Yair, right? Like not at this stage in his career. He's a guy who's worked the body and used leg kicks and marched forward and stuff like that. Now he's going to be doing that against a guy who whips leg kicks out there like it's his job, and he's 6 inches taller with way more reach, and is more creative. You don't want any part of him on the ground for the most part, right? It's like he dislocated Brian Ortega's shoulders on the ground, right? Like he he continues to look like an absolute threat anytime you take him down. And like Pitbull uses takedowns once in a while. And so like he doesn't even seemingly have that. And like, Pitbull has always been what made him so, good in Bellator is he was just faster than a lot of people. And I don't think he's faster than Yair. I think he's smaller and slower, which is a dangerous combination when you're primarily a striker.
Yeah.
And then like I think he's got worse jiu-jitsu too. So like at this stage in his career, I just can't get behind Pitbull against a guy like Yair Rodriguez. And Yair is like, he's been around for a while, but maybe doesn't have the mileage on him either.
No, he's been out a lot.
Yeah, which is a good or possibly a bad thing. But like, like he hasn't taken the damage, which maybe he hasn't taken the Darren Elkins.
No, he's not many people have though.
Damage.
Yeah, and Pitbull's going to be 38 in July. Like you can't be counting on your speed and athleticism to
not a featherweight. No,
not a featherweight. Yeah, to win fights for you. So glad to see him here. Like I said, it would have been nicer a decade ago, but Bellator didn't die until
back when he was throwing down with Pat Curran.
Like
right. That's the Pitbull I want.
The tournament days, yeah.
And also I want Pat Curran in the UFC.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I really liked Pat Curran. Is that wrong of me to say? Does anybody here who's listening to this know who Pat Curran is?
I'm listening. I know. No Pat Curran shade shall be thrown on you. But anyone else? Anyone have?
If you know who Pat Curran is, just without having to look this up afterwards. Just write something in the comments to make me feel good about my age.
Yeah, exactly. And Gumby is 15 years younger than me. So, and if he's feeling old, then you know how I feel now. So, all right. Let's get to the co-main event. Speaking of Bellator fighters, a fighter that probably he came he had a bit more left in his tank than Pitbull probably did when he came to Bellator, but Michael Chandler came after. He had a lot of miles on the odometer. He's fighting in the lightweight bout against Paddy Pimblett, another guy who came, I guess he didn't come too late. He was offered contract much earlier than when he actually did come to the UFC. So Iron Mike Chandler, another reason not to like him. He stole someone else's nickname. 23-9, 11 knockouts, 7 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted once. 2-4 in the UFC. He's lost 2 straight, and he's gone 1-4 over his last 5. He's not won since May of 2022. He went 18-5 in Bellator and was a 3-time champion there. He's fed at 170. He went 2-0 in Strikeforce. Strikeforce never die. Oh, and Bellator, RIP as well. We're getting the list of Strikeforce now that Clay Guida's gone. The list of Strikeforce fighters are dwindling.
It's dwindling. Yeah.
2009.
You got to catch all those guys in GFL.
That's right. Soon enough. Can't wait. He was an All-American wrestler in college. He started pro MMA in 2009. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC, which is surprising. You wouldn't think he would with all the damage he's taken, but 0.19 strikes per minute. So pretty much.
Fought Tony Ferguson once.
That helps. Yeah. He's got better grappling stats than Pimblett, but that's stats. Plus 125. Paddy the Batty Pimblett, 22-3, 6 knockouts, 10 submissions. He's been submitted once. He's a durable guy. 6-0 in the UFC. It's part of an 8-fight winning streak. He won his last fight via submission. He's not lost since September 2018. He was Cage Warriors champion. Also a regional champion. He used to fight at 135 and 145. He's missed weight twice at 135, not surprisingly, really. He's a big lightweight to begin with. 2012 Pro MMA debut. 2 inches height, 2 inches of reach over Chandler. 9 years younger. Better striking stats, more active landing strikes. He's outstruck his UFC opponents by 1.19 strikes per minute, minus 138. Still undefeated in the UFC, Gumby. Paddy the Batty.
Yeah, I think I'm going Pimblett. By the way, did you see the headline on one of my least favorite MMA websites who now just dedicates every headline to either Henry Cejudo or Chael Sonnen?
Yeah.
Chael Sonnen says or Henry Cejudo says. What was the
headline?
So the headline was Henry Cejudo is thinking upset in the co-main event this weekend.
Yeah.
And then immediately picks Paddy Pimblett.
Minus 138, right?
Yeah, I mean, minus 138 is actually down from where it was. I think it was 45 or 50 by the when he said that. I was like, you're just saying things to say things. Yeah. Words don't have meaning to you. I'm going to take Pimblett. I debated on this one for a while because I do think that Chandler on the feet is somewhat of a problem for Paddy.
He is for most people, even at this advanced age.
He's still fast. He's still explosive. He's still got good KO power. I don't know that I've ever seen Paddy like rocked good. You know what I mean? Like he's got a really You don't knock Sousers out. I mean, I know he said that, but like,
it's true.
Sort of true.
Those Northerners are tough. It's true.
Yeah, that guy's, and so like, if he can take the shots and he can sort of drag Chandler into that deep water, like his grappling is just so crafty. Like, I don't think Chandler wants to fall back on his wrestling. Not that he ever really has when he's supposed to. And we've seen sort of some gaps in his defensive jiu-jitsu. Now, granted, he hasn't been submitted, but like the positions he gave up to Charlie Oliveira were not impressive to me in terms of his grappling. And like, I know the UFC keeps putting that package together, like, look at these slams from Michael Chandler. And it's like, no, dude, he had his back taken and he was falling to the ground. I don't know why we're doing that.
But look at him blow his bloody nose into this man's mouth. Look at that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think
this opponent.
I think Pimblett has a chance to sub him. I wouldn't actually be surprised if Pimblett cracks him either. His hands have been getting a lot better as of late, right? Especially that like straight right he throws. He's been doing a lot of damage with it. So like, it really wouldn't surprise me if he hurt him there and then subbed him either.
I'm taking Pimblett as well.
Did you ever think we would come to this? I was like a Pimblett hater. For
you
a
were,
while.
yeah.
Like when he first came, I was like, he's gonna get beat by everybody. And now like he might be like a top 7 lightweight, right? Like, yeah, maybe is that reasonable? Maybe top 7 guy.
Yeah. If he gets past this test as well. But yeah, I pretty much second everything you say here. Way younger, obviously less wear and tear on his body, but most people have less wear and tear than Chandler. Obviously on the feet is going to be scary. But as he said, and as I said off top, he's never been knocked out. And yeah, he's going to be way better on the ground. So, and he's a big guy too. Chandler may be stronger, but Pimblett's by no means a small lightweight here. So I think he can hold his own. So give me Paddy the Baddy at -138 here. And it's hard to pick Michael Chandler. Basically, just like we didn't pick Bryce Mitchell. All right, before we get to our main event, it's time for Gumby's bonus underdog pick'em play of the episode. Underdog pick'em, you can play any sport and win up to 100 times your money. All right, what do you got, Gumby?
I'm gonna go back to the UFC because I know it, you were thinking about saying that, but then I threw you off.
I knew not to.
But I'm gonna go back to the UFC. I'm gonna take the higher than on Nora Cornell's significant strikes, listed at 48.5. I think that fight is probably going to take the full 15 minutes, probably not a ton of grappling. Shouldn't be hard for her to rack up 50 significant strikes. So give me the higher than Nora Cornell's significant strikes.
Good one. I like that one as well. Sign up with our code MMASGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit. Offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That would be underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. And Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Rhythm is now live for Major League Baseball. Plus, they got models for NBA and golf. Picks so good it feels like cheating. Building your model is simple and easy. Check out the Al Horford props and models there as well. And Rhythm has some amazing deals going on now. 25% off monthly subscription with the promo code SGPN25 and 50% off annual subscription with a promo code SGPN50. That's Rhythm, RITHMM. Promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. And we're to our main event, another featherweight belt. This one is for the vacant featherweight title. Gumby, why is it vacant? We know why it's vacant.
Yeah, Ilia Topuria.
Scared of all the featherweights and went up to lightweight. I'm
not going to say he's scared of all of them. I think the weight cut was a lot. But also, like, if you decide to drop that title after, what was it, one title victory and one defense?
Yeah.
You can't sit there and say you're doing it because there's nothing else for you in that division. It's just not, it's fundamentally untrue. You can say that I don't want to make the weight cut anymore. There's better opportunities for me up a weight class. I want to do this next. But you can't say that you like cleaned out the division with 2 wins. It's just not true.
Yeah. He, I don't know. He said it's weight issue. So maybe it is.
I hope that's true.
Yep. Anyhow, we shall see how he does at lightweight, but this one is about featherweights. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. Oh, sorry. The co-main event is 5-minute rounds as well. That doesn't change that probably makes your pick even better, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, for sure. This one. Oh, really?
I'm not picking Chandler, but like it does.
Yeah.
Chandler does have the gas tank.
Yeah. No, he's old. So how long is that going to last is the thing.
True.
So, all right. Main event obviously is 5-minute rounds as well. Volkanovski versus Lopes. Will tell you about the Brazilian Diego Lopes first. Once I get my tab open, here we go. He's 26-6, 10 knockouts, 12 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. He's 5-1 in the UFC. He dropped his debut and he's won 5 straight since then. Multi-region championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our merch at sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. He went 0-1 in Contender Series. Who did you lose to, Gumby?
Joe Anderson Britu?
Correct. You fight at 135. 2012 Pro MMA debut. 5 inches height, an inch of reach over Volkanovski, 6 years younger. He's barely outstruck his opponents, so we have stats for. So UFC and Contender Series, he's at plus 0.09. And on the board, plus 105. He's come closer to pick him than he was originally. He was open a bit more of a dog than this. Alexander the Great is 26-4. 13 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times. 13-3 in the UFC. He's the former champ. He's lost 2 straight, both via knockout. He's only won 1 of 4. He's not fought since February 2024. He used to fight at 155 and 170. Do you know he used to be a rugby player, Gumby? He was
270 pounds.
580 pounds. 2012 Pro MMA debut. 1-0 in pro boxing. Better striking stats than Lopes. More active landing strikes than Lopes. And he's outstruck his opponents by 2.72 strikes per minute. He's at minus 122. Give me Lopes. I
can't have to do that.
Yeah, I can't put faith in Volkanovski. I don't see why he's even a favorite here. He's going to be 37 later this year. He's been knocked out in back-to-back fights. That's pretty much all you need to know. It's not about who's better or in this matchup or what type of style matchup it is. Or I don't think or Lopes will be too reckless. I just don't think Volkanovski has it anymore. And Lopes is a very dangerous fighter that has knocked out 2 of his last 4 opponents. So give me Lopes at plus money. Gladly take it. Thank you.
2 of his last 4, but who? Pat Sabatini?
Yep.
Sadiq Youssef.
Yes. Yeah. He didn't he didn't knock out Dan Ige because no one has. And he didn't knock out Brian Ortega, which is fine also because no one really knocks him out either. So
yeah, I mean, they just taunt him while they're hitting him.
He's true. Go ahead. Take Volkanovski. Have your heart broken. Go ahead.
I'm going to take Volkanovski. I'm going to have my heart broken. No, but the big piece for me here is I don't know that Lopes has fought somebody who I would deem like a complete fighter in the UFC. You know, like the loss to Evloev, like I'll just throw that out. Like we're not talking about him taking a fight on 2 days' notice. And you know, he lost, but whatever. But like when we look at the people he's fought, right? Sadiq Youssef, that guy's not grappling, you know, right? And he's just striking with him and he knocked him out. You know, Pat Sabatini, we know exactly what Pat Sabatini wants to do and nothing else. You know, Brian Ortega, same thing. That guy wants to grapple. He doesn't want to strike anymore. Even after, you know, Max Holloway taught him how to strike. You know, Danny Gay, Gavin Tucker. Do we think any of these guys are like complete and elite fighters? No, I don't. And then in addition to that too, like we saw Gavin Tucker take him down. We saw, you know, granted it was a while ago, but Joe Anderson Britu took him down 3 times and beat him up on the ground. And like, I think people forget just how good the grappling of Volkanovski can be. And being that he's been like knocked out recently, like it wouldn't surprise me if he went to that earlier. He's got tons of 5-round experience. His gas tank clearly lasts that long. For me, the reason I like the Volkanovski side here is like, to me, for Lopes, it's like knockout or bust. I don't think he's going to win a 25-minute decision with Volkanovski. I don't think there's a chance of that. So, like, I'll take Volkanovski's chances to survive and win this fight over, you know, 3 or 4 rounds rather than taking a one-shot knockout on Lopes. And really, if you're on the Lopes side, you're with Jeff on this one. That's cool. But I would just say play the knockout. Play the knockout. There's no reason to play anything with the knockout. I don't think he's going to outwork him for 25.
Maybe there'll be more on that very, very soon. So we shall see. All right, let's give you a recap. He's got Volk. I got Lopes. We both have Pimblett. We both have Rodriguez. We both have Silva. We both have Reyes. So we differed on one, just like on the prelims. All right, locks, dogs, props, parlays, all that fun stuff. Gumby kicks it off this episode.
I'm going to go all the way back to the first fight. I'm going to take Nora Cornell. I like her over Haley Cowan for my lock of the week.
She was one of my finalists for this year lock. I'm glad I didn't pick her because that's this way everyone gets an extra lock. I am taking Sean Woodson as my lock.
I thought you were gonna do that.
Minus 162. You knew that, did you? So we're taking the prelim opener, Cornole minus 175, and then the prelim concluder in the main event, Sean Woodson minus 162. All right, what's your lock?
Or my dog?
Your dog. Sorry, yes.
My dog is going to be Dominick Reyes.
Me too. Lock dog.
What the hell is that?
I know. I tried not to, but I had to.
Yeah. I thought about Raposo. I'm gonna go Reyes. For some reason, I have the faith that he's gonna get the knockout, and that may show up a little bit later too. So be prepared for that.
All right. For my prop, I'm taking Diego Lopes via knockout or TKO, as gonna be said. That's the play to make. Plus 335. His knockout prop is higher than Volkanovski's. No, Volkanovski's is higher than Lopes's, which makes no sense to me at all. So I think Volks is like plus 350 or 360. So Lopes knockout plus 335.
Okay, I'm gonna take Marco Tulio by knockout. I think he's gonna dazzle on Tresean Gore, who I don't think has particularly good striking, and you can get that at even money. So I'm gonna take Marco Tulio by knockout plus 100.
All right, Marco Tulio. So knockout. Plus what? 100. You said. All right, even money. All right, Cornole, Woodson are the locks. Reyes is the dog. Tulio knockout prop. Lopes knockout prop. Boom. All right. Do we have a Hungerman Jong Superfan parlay or round robin?
I just went parlay this week.
Okay.
There wasn't a ton of props that I really liked. I think because of the big wide lines. But the two I like, I just mentioned it. Dominick Reyes. I think he's going to get the knockout. His knockout prop right now is plus 375, which I think is a pretty nice line. Yeah. And then I'm going to take your lock of the week in Sean Woodson, and I'm going to say he gets the knockout too. I teased before, nobody knocks out Dan Ige, and that's true until somebody knocks out Dan Ige. I think Saturday night might be the night. Sean Woodson by knockout is plus 500. So if we put Woodson along with Reyes for both getting knockouts, you're going to get 27.5 to 1.
All right, 27.5 to 1. You're all set now, ladies and gents. If you want more goodness from us, we'll be in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We shall be on, check out the comments on YouTube, MMA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you subscribe there. Twitter, X, SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there and on Instagram. Check out my Substack. Enter my free UFC pick'em contest for this event at moneymma.substack.com. Gumby has another podcast where he interviews interesting people in MMA. Who are the interesting people this week on Top Turtle MMA podcast?
Josh Reddinghouse, and we're also talking to Julian Juicy J. Arosa.
All right, there you go. You're all set. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store for your merch needs and wants, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon for your bonus content. We'll be back on Sunday, more regional MMA. Actually, there's no UFC next week, right? So 5 straight regional
which episodes. Is good because we've got such a loaded week next week. Good. I think we got PFL, LFA, Cage Warriors, lots of good stuff out there.
Nice. All right, bid the people farewell till then.
All right, I'm Danny Gumby Vreeland. He's Jeff Lord Fox, and we will see you on Sunday.